Hello everyone and welcome to this latest crash course video. Today we're going to be talking about greatest common factor and least common multiple. And that's when we're comparing two or more numbers to one another in very specific ways. So let's talk about greatest common factor. Very first of all, we need to know what a factor is. And a factor is a number that we multiply together with another to find a product. So another way to visualize that would be a factor multiplied by a factor is going to equal our product. When we're asked to find the factors of a number, we're finding the numbers we can multiply to equal the specific number given. So if I'm asked to find the factors of a certain number, I want to find all the different number combinations that are out there that I can multiply together to equal this specific number we're given. To find the greatest common factor of two numbers, or more than two numbers sometimes, we need to compare both of their factors to see which one is the largest factor they have in common. They may have more than one number in common when you're finding the factors. Those are called common factors. To find the greatest common factor, we want the largest number of the ones they have in common. So let's look at an example here, and let's find the factors of the number 32. So I know one way that I can get to 32 is by multiplying 1 times 32. Another way I can get there is by multiplying 2 times 16. And then one more way is 4 times 8. So if I'm going to list my factors in order, I'm going to list them from least to greatest, so smallest to largest. So my first factor would be 1, then 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32. So these are all of my factors of 32. These are all the different numbers that I can multiply together to equal 32. Now when I'm finding the greatest common factor, I'm going to compare two numbers here. So I'm going to find the greatest common factor of 24 and 32. I want to know what the largest number is, the largest factor that they both have in common. So let's review again our factors of 32. I have 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32. Let's think about the factors of 24. Well, I know 1 is a factor of 24 because 1 times 24 equals 24. Since 24 is an even number, I know I can cut it in half, so 2 would be a factor of it. I know 3 is a factor because 3 times 8 equals 24. 4 is also a factor because 6 times 4 equals 24. There's the 8 that goes with my 3, so 8 times 3, 2 times 12, and 24 times 1. So these are all my factors. Now I want to see all of the factors that they have in common. So I want to determine their common factors. So I see they have 1 in common, they have 2, 4, and they have 8. Now that I know all of their common factors, I can determine which one is the greatest common factor or which one is the largest one that they have in common. So 1 obviously isn't it, that guy, and 4. So the largest number, the largest factor that these two numbers have in common is 8. So the greatest common factor of 24 and 32 equals 8. Let's switch gears here and talk about least common multiple now. What is a multiple? So multiples are the products of a given number and any other factor other than 0. So when we're asked to find the multiples of a number, we're finding the products of that specific number. Another way to think about this is that whatever number you're given to find the multiples of, you're essentially skip counting with your given number. We are finding all of the possible products of our given number. To find the least common multiple of two numbers or more than two numbers, we need to compare both of their multiples to see which one is the smallest multiple they have in common. So as opposed to greatest common factor, we want to find the smallest number that they have in common in this case. So let's look at an example here. I want to find the multiples of 6. So if I'm going to go in order and I'm going to find all the possible products of 6, I'm going to start right at the beginning. So let's look at what 6 times 1 is, which is 6. Next in my pattern would be 6 times 2, which equals 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, and we could continue going on from there. But you can see that when we're finding the multiples, we're just finding the organized set of products that our number can create. So let's look at finding the least common multiple of two numbers. And we're going to find the least common multiple of 4 and 6. So I'm going to start out with the number 4. My first multiple of 4 would be 4, because 4 times 1 equals 4. And from here, I can skip count by 4. So next to my pattern would be 8, 12, 16, 24, 28, 32, 36, and we could continue going, but I'm going to stop at this point. Now we're going to find again all of those multiples of 6. And again, we already found out that we have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, and 36. So now I want to see what all of their common multiples are. So I can see they have 36 in common, they have 24 in common, and they have 12 in common. To determine the least common multiple, I want the smallest value that they have in common. So it's obviously not 36 and it's not 24. So I can see that the least common multiple of 4 and 6 equals 12. Something really important to remember here, and something that I see a lot, is the confusion of bouncing around between greatest common factor and least common multiple. It's important to remember that factors are the numbers that we multiply together to equal a specific product. And when we're finding the greatest common factor, we're already given the product. We just need to find the numbers that we can multiply together to equal that specific number. When we're finding the multiples of a number, we're finding all the multiplication possibilities of that number. So we're finding all of the products that that number can become. I want to thank you guys again for watching this crash course video. Be on the lookout for more as we continue through the school year this year, and feel free to access any of the other crash course videos I have on my channel. And as always, happy mathing.